Hey guys, Justin here, back again with another VFX tutorial video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a web effects tutorial, which will include a web pull and then a web to the wall. As you can see in this video, I've got me and my brother here. I already did a web effects video on my channel at one stage. I think it was like 2020 or 2021, and I honestly feel like that tutorial was a little out of date and some people wanted an updated tutorial. So today I'm going to be showing you how to do web effects again, but this tutorial was a lot more up to date with better techniques for the editing process, and you'll just get better results in general. So hopefully that this tutorial can make your webs look as best as they can be, and I'll try it and make this tutorial as easy as I can to follow. I'm very used to doing web effects now since I've been doing a lot of it in our new film Spider-Man Dimension Rift. I would love to show you guys some examples from the movie, but I'm afraid I can't right now because we haven't even gotten around to making the trailer yet. But there are already a lot of scenes with webs in them, which you guys will see in that movie. So yeah, I don't want to waste your guys' time. You're here to do some web effects, so I'm going to teach you. So let's just get straight into the tutorial. So right off the bat, obviously the first thing that you want to do is record your footage. Right here I've got my footage that I recorded outside with my brother, and this one video alone in one tag shows 2 examples of web effects I'm going to be showing you how to do. So I'll just show you guys the video that I recorded for this tutorial. So as you can see, I web my brother and pull him towards the wall, and then I'm going to be webbing him to the wall. In my previous tutorial that I did on webs, I just shot like 2 webs out to the side and then webbed the wall. It was kind of a weird choice, to be honest. So this tutorial will show you how to do webs in a way that you would mostly use them in a film. Also, if you're wondering why there's a random black line at the bottom of my clip here, that's because I've got that ready for putting cinematic bars over the video. As you guys know, I like to put cinematic bars over the top of my videos, so I've just positioned it in a way where it's in a good spot for the cinematic bars, because if I have it down here, it'll just kind of look a little too low. So yeah. Anyway, let's get straight into the tutorial now. So one thing I'm going to say is that I've got these web effects here from the website Production Crate, which I highly recommend. There are tons and tons and tons of free effects that you can get. I'll put the link to the website down below so you guys can check it out for yourself. It's really worth it, and you can even pay for some better effects. I think it's like a monthly subscription or something, I'm not too sure. For free effects, these are really good, and I've used them in Dimension Rift like all the time. So I strongly recommend the website, and I think you guys will get so much out of it. And these effects work perfectly for this tutorial. So firstly, what you want to do is grab your web effect that you want to use. I've got this one right here. I'll show it on a black screen so it's easier to see. It just shoots out and it sticks. That's basically it. So you'll be able to find this on Production Crate somewhere. First, what you want to do is you want to go to the frame where you're shooting the web out on your video. I'm going to do it to about here. I think this frame right here will work perfectly for this. And just to make it a little bit easier to know exactly where I want to start the shooting of the web, I'm just going to click on the video and press the split icon so I can create a little line and I know exactly where I'm shooting it out. After that, you want to grab your web effect and line it up to the line that you've just split in your video. So the video is actually playing at the same time that I'm shooting the web. Now obviously it's not doing anything here right now. So we're going to have to obviously edit it. The second thing that I'm going to do is, as I pull my arm towards the wall and I get the web to about here, I'm actually going to split the web video right here and delete the rest of the video. So now I just have web for when I web and pull a little bit, because what I do with my webs is I like to fade it out as I'm pulling it so the web kind of disappears. Otherwise, if the web is still going, that means I would have to travel it between the head of the person and then through their arm to my hand, and it won't look good because it'll be on top of the arm instead of behind the arm. So now I've just got this right here, the web going out as I'm pulling, and it just ends there. So what you want to do now is you want to double click on your web video and make sure it's at the start of it. And as you can see right here, you can see the start of the web already starting to come out. So you just want to double click on the video, as I said, and size it down to the size that you want the web, and try and find where it is on top of your hand. And you can see it's coming out there. One thing that you want to do, which I highly recommend, is when you're on the web video, go to color and go to brightness and turn up the brightness so you can actually see the web better. Because if you just put it in as a raw video, it might not be bright and you might not see the web as much as you want to. So you can mess around with these settings as much as you like to make it as bright as possible without making it look too fake. So I'm just going to mess around with this for a sec and see how it looks. Okay, I've just sort of played around with these color settings here, and I think this is at a point where it's not too bright, but it's also just bright enough to see the web. Before we actually continue with the web effect, one thing that I strongly recommend is double clicking on the web video, going to the video tab, and finding this little lock icon here and unlocking that. Now basically, when we click that, what that does is it gives us more free movement of the image itself, so we can stretch it as much as we want. Because if you turn that back on, you're limited to just making it big and small, so you can't actually stretch it. But once we unlock this, then we can actually stretch it as much as we want in a bunch of angles. So that'll help us with this a lot to make the web look smaller as I'm pulling the bully guy here, or whatever you want to call him, towards the wall. So now that that lock has been unlocked, you want to find where the web is coming out of your hand to where it's shooting out. I'll just put it around, it's really hard to see, but I'm just going to stretch the image a little and I'll put it on my wrist here. It's pretty much around where this little dot is. It's really hard to see, but that's pretty much where it is. Now, after you've done that, where you have it positioned on your wrist, where the start of the web is coming out, and you have it positioned on your wrist and where you want it, what you want to do after that is you want to go down to this icon here, which is the keyframing icon. Now, what this does is every time we move a frame, it lets us basically animate it with our wrist. So you want to click that, and now that has just created a frame here on where it's coming out. And then you want to move this little timeline thing one frame across again, and then you want to position the web here coming out of your wrist again, and then you have 2 frames there. As you can see, there's 2 frames that have been done here. So I'm shooting it and I'm shooting it again, and it's coming out of my wrist still here. Just position a little better, and then you want to move it to the next frame again, and it's coming out, as you can see, and I'll position it on my wrist again, and now it's created 3 frames, just like that. And I'll move it to another frame. Now obviously this has gone way past my brother's head here, which we don't want. And that's why we unlocked the lock before, so we can stretch it, so we can make the image smaller. So you just want to position it to where it's going and where you want it to go here. Now you can see with these 4 frames that it's going across with me shooting the web. Sometimes Filmora will be a little bit weird, where if you click on one of the frames, the web will be like all the way over here after you've animated ones in front of it. So what you want to do is you just want to go back to those frames and just position it on your wrist where you want it, and then once you've positioned all of them properly, then it'll look like it's on your wrist. So it's just the same deal with doing the sort of like manual motion tracking. If you move it to another frame, you just want to move it with your hand and make sure the web is sticking to whatever you want to stick it to. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the time to quickly just animate and move the web each individual frame, and then you guys can do the same thing for your video. Alright, I've just finished animating my video here. It's not perfect, and it's not perfectly lined up with my hand the best here, because Filmora was doing that really weird thing where it was making the webs go off the distance and it wasn't really working that well. But if you spend a lot of more time on it than I have, then you can really perfect it and make it look as good as you want. So it's not perfect, but I think it's definitely good enough for this tutorial. That's pretty much it for that part of the web. Basically what I'm going to do now is go to transitions, grab a dissolve transition, and just make it so as I'm pulling it, the web slowly fades out, and it should look pretty much seamless. Nice. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the part where my brother hits the wall, and I jump over here, and I go to web him again. So I'm going to split the video about there, and now I'm going to grab this web from production crate where it's webbing onto the wall, and I'm just going to drag the end of it to the end of the video. Now you want to double click on this web video, go to video basic, and then press the flip icon, depending on what way you're actually shooting it, of course. And again, you want to unlock this little lock icon so you have free room to move the video wherever you want. What I'm going to do really quickly is I'm just going to change the color and the brightness to match the video the best I can. So I'm just going to quickly do that. Okay, I've just messed around with the settings here, and now I'll show you guys how to actually do it. Now the best way to do it is, obviously the video automatically just puts it out like this, but the best way to do it is to double click on the video, size it down really small to where your hand is. I'm going to do it to about here and line it up with my hand here, and then I'm going to again press the keyframing icon to create one frame of the animation, and then move it across a frame, and as it goes across I'm just going to make it bigger, just like this. So now when I'm shooting it, it gets a little bit bigger and goes towards the thug here, and then I'm going to move it across a frame again, make it bigger again, probably around here. I think this looks pretty good, so it goes bigger each time. I'm just going to change these up a little bit to make them look better. And then now that it's actually almost stuck to the wall, I'm just going to adjust it a little. Just going to quickly adjust these frames, then move it across again, and then so on. So I'm just going to quickly mess around with this until I'm done, and you guys can do the same thing with your video to the point where it looks the best. Okay, I've pretty much finished mine here, and this is how it looks. The reason why it's stuck to the wall so well is because I've got the camera on a tripod. So if you want to avoid doing lots and lots and lots of editing of trying to track the web to the wall, maybe don't film the video handheld and maybe keep it on a tripod and keep it as a still shot, because then you don't have to worry about tracking it to the side of the wall. If the camera's on a tripod and it's a still shot, well then it'll just stay there and you don't have to do any crazy editing to try and track it to the wall. I've had to track it to the wall with handheld shots multiple times in some of our films, but I'm just used to it now. But since this is more of a beginner's tutorial, I'm just telling you guys that to start off with these effects, it's probably best to have the camera in a spot where it's not going to move, so then you don't have to do any crazy editing to track the web to the wall. But pretty much the effects are done here, and that's it for the effects themselves. I'm just going to go ahead and edit the video to how I want it, and I'm just going to add some sound effects, going to do some color grading and add cinematic bars and whatever. So I'll be a bit here, guys, and I'm just going to quickly edit this and then I'll be right back with you. I just finished editing my video here, and now I'm going to show you guys what it's like, because this is pretty much the end of the tutorial. Pretty much all I added was some color grading, a little bit of camera shake effects to blend everything together well. So it kind of looks like it's handheld, but it's actually not. And then I added a little shake effect for when my brother hits the wall, and then I added some sound effects and cinematic bars and all that stuff. But all of those little things are totally up to you guys in your video. This is just the way that I like to do tutorials. I like to add little bonus features on top of it just to make the videos look a little more appealing. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know if it helped you. And if you have any questions, just comment in the comment section below and I'll be sure to respond. But anyway, that's the end of the tutorial, guys. I'm going to show the video now, and I hope you enjoyed.